Hey guys, Merry Meet, and welcome to this episode of Bewitching the Moon. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, like usually I try to film these or record these, nobody uses film anymore, the day before or 2 days before the full moon. I'm actually doing this a week before, and I'm sorry about that. Like I usually like to do it around the same time just so I can feel the energy of the moon and it kind of like inspires what I'm gonna say. But I'm house sitting next week, so yeah, so I'm not gonna have all my things, all my setup, all my, everything there. So I'm doing this one ahead, and yeah, but here's the thing. This full moon, it's July 9th at 12:07 a.m. and it's in Capricorn. I kind of feel okay. I kind of feel connected with the energy because I'm a Capricorn. I kind of, and all the things that I'm about to talk about are really happening in my life right now. So I feel like I have things to say regardless of the fact that I'm not like in it with you guys right now. So, yeah, so as I said, the full moon is July 9th at 12:07 a.m. And this is the buck moon or the thunder moon. And I kind of like the thunder moon just because we're having so many thunderstorms right now. Like so many thunderstorms. And wow, that is like kind of bringing everybody down right now. But it's kind of like, it's got that power behind the thunderstorms. And I used to love thunderstorms before we ended up with like a roof leak. I just love the power of them and the intensity and the energy. And I used to really thrive on that. Now I've got this house that's kind of taking on some water. It's less sexy. Hopefully when I get the roof fixed, I'll be able to, go back to that. So, it is moving from Cancer into Capricorn. So I'm sorry, it's not moving from Cancer. We had our new moon in Cancer and our full moon in Capricorn. So what that means, it's kind of an interesting setup because Cancer, as I discussed in my last video, is very mothering, very nurturing. Okay, it's the sign that just takes care of everyone. And I have Cancer rising, and so a lot of people perceive me as being that person, and so they come to me and want, free therapy, nurturing. They kind of want me to help them take care of their problems, that sort of thing. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying, it can get really overwhelming, and you can run into people who will drain you. So I try really hard to make sure that I have my closest friends are the ones who there's a give and take. I went over all that in the last video. So again, a very mothering, nurturing sign. Well, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and that's kind of like a very fatherly, very patriarchal sign. So we've got the mother and then the father, okay? And if you remember, my intention was to protect that nurturing side of myself, to because I want it there. I really want it there. It's a good part of me, but I need to protect it, and I need to have gates that kind of let certain things in but don't let other things, you know what I mean? So, and I'm very empathic, so that was my intention. And Capricorn really kind of works with that, because Capricorn is like, Cancer is like, I love you, I want to take care of you. Capricorn is, we've got rules here. Okay, we've got rules, we've got, procedures we're supposed to follow. He's very much the leader. And so I have both of those in my makeup. I've got Cancer moon and Capricorn sun. And wow, yeah, this is a really good lunar, lunation for me. So yeah, so there's that dichotomy of the mother and father. But we're in the Celtic, we're just starting, or will be just starting, the Celtic tree month of Holly. And Holly is, boom, about protection. There you go. It could not be any more clear. Holly is also about renewal. Okay, it's about kind of clearing and rebalancing your energy. It's about re-energizing and really moving towards your purpose, okay? And in that way, it's also about celebrating success, because we're moving towards the first harvest, or Lunacy. So we are kind of getting those first fruits of our labors. And so it's time to kind of sit back and just, appreciate all the hard work that we put into everything. So that's something that's coming up too. And that's really prevalent in my life right now because I'm finally starting to get some forward momentum on things that I've been working for really hard. And also, it's June 30th right now. Tomorrow's July 1st. I'm starting Camp NaNoWriMo. It's probably the worst idea because I have so many other projects. But so many of the projects that I want to get done involve writing. And so I'm using Camp NaNoWriMo as a time to work on my Book of Shadows, to work on my tarot notebook, to, all that writing, blog posts. I want to do so many blog posts, and I'm probably going to write them and pre-schedule them. So you'll see a lot more on my blog as well as the mysticalmoonmusings.wordpress.com from me, because I really want to get more active with my blogging. I've kind of been focusing on videos, and I've been neglecting that part, but that's a part that I really love too. So I'm going to get more into that. Another thing I'm doing is I am actually writing a Tarot 101 class that I'm going to be giving at DragonCon. I mean, I am giving it. I'm not, I'm just really nervous. I've never done any kind of a panel or a class or anything like that. So, really nervous about that, but so excited. I can't wait. And I'm also doing readings at DragonCon. We did it last year, and it was really exciting. It was so fun. It was just this room full of strangers that just thronged us. There were 2 readers, and actually one of the people in the audience was a reader who happened to have her tarot cards, so we got her to come and read as well. So I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. So DragonCon is very tarot intensive for me. So yeah, so as far as restoring my direction, I've got so much direction. So many good things are happening. Again, I've just been working really hard to make all these things happen, and it's finally starting to show fruit. So it's really exciting. So I'm kind of coming into my first harvest as well. So, but I do still want to focus on protection. And so what I'm going to be making for you is a protection witch bottle that I'm actually going to bury in my front yard, right in front of my door. Actually, I have a porch, and then you walk down the steps to get to the yard. I'm going to bury it under the porch, right in front of my front door. So I'm going to be making that, and I'm also going to show you what is in my personal protection mojo bag that I've been carrying around for years. And it's kind of funny, because you know how you have those people in your life who are psychic vampires who really just, when you get around them, you're just exhausted. It doesn't matter. You can spend 5 minutes with them, and you're exhausted, and you're just drained, and I had one person who would even give me really terrible headaches whenever I was around him. And it's always those people who notice it when I'm wearing it. So that's kind of funny. I wore it to DragonCon, mostly because there's so much energy and so much drama there sometimes that you just want protection from that. And the one who gave me headaches was the one who noticed. He was like, "What is that you're wearing?" Nobody else said anything. So, and that's happened a couple times. So, I'm going to show you what I use and why. And yeah, that's it. So, I'm going to go get my stuff, and I'll be back in a minute. Bye. Hey guys, Merry Meet. I'm back. And actually, it's the next day, but now, I told you guys I was going to tell you what is in my protection mojo bag. But as you can see, this thing used to be really nice black velvet. I think it actually came from the same scrap. It has been used. I don't know if you can tell, it's got fuzz attached to it and everything. I wear this a lot, and it is sealed tight. There is no way to get into this thing without cutting into it, and I'm clearly not going to do that. So I just wanted to describe what's in here, because I remember pretty clearly what I put in here. And that is black tourmaline. And black tourmaline's great because it takes negativity and just boom, grounds it. Just boom, it is grounded. You're good. I've got smoky quartz in here. And smoky quartz is great because it basically takes the negativity and purifies it and turns it into positivity. So that's a good thing. I also have a tourmalinated quartz. I should have mentioned that with the black tourmaline. And what that is a quartz that has tourmaline needles running through it. And what happens then is the quartz just kind of magnifies the power of the black tourmaline. So I kind of did double with that. I did the tourmalinated quartz and the black tourmaline just to kind of give it some extra oomph. Now I know that I have, I did not put hematite in here because hematite, you have to clean it a lot. It absorbs negativity, but then it gets kind of so filled with negativity that it kind of starts radiating its own negativity, and you don't want that. So I would not have used that in here, knowing that I couldn't really get it out of the bag easily to cleanse it. I only use hematite in places where I know that I'll be able to cleanse it regularly. So I did also use, what do you think, snowflake obsidian. And obsidian's kind of weird because it's a very powerful, very potent stone. Obsidian will bring up negativity so that you have to deal with it. It helps clear negativity in that it forces you to see it, deal with it, acknowledge it, so that you can move through it. So obsidian's kind of a tough stone. It's really good for shadow work. It's really good for dealing with issues from your past and everything, but you have to be ready for it. You kind of have to be mentally and emotionally ready for it because it can bring up some really dark things. Great for shadow work when there's stuff about yourself that you just don't want to face. It's great for clearing things just energetically, but not gently. It's not a gentle stone at all. So yeah, make sure you're ready for any kind of obsidian before you use it. But snowflake obsidian, the snowflake is a little bit more gentle as far as that goes. So I definitely have some snowflake obsidian in here. And let me see, I think those are it. I'm trying to think of if I can feel, yeah, there's tourmaline. And I probably would have had a piece of labradorite in here for Hecate. Possibly even a garnet, because garnet is kind of like my personal stone. It's my birthstone, but also I kind of use it as my personal stone, just to kind of key it to me. And there are herbs in there. I probably would have used rosemary or sage. Actually, I probably would have used sage just because with this, I'm more into the purifying that negativity. I wear this on my body, and I want any negativity that comes to me to be purified, turned into positivity or grounded, or just like I don't accept it. So probably would have used sage because sage is very purifying, whereas rosemary is a little bit more just protective, but sage would have kind of dealt with that energy. So yeah, so I'm sorry again, I was going to show you guys what was in here. It really works for me. You know, again, I think I mentioned that, you know, I've had people who have brought negativity into my life who kind of looked at it like, oh, what's that? You know, and kind of noticed it. So, but anyone who is positive and filled with good intentions has never noticed this. So it's kind of funny. So anyways, make a mojo bag, you know, especially if you are empathic or if you are surrounded by negative people, like if you're in a negative workspace, if you have, you know, negativity around you, this is such a good idea. And I actually hand sewed this bag, so yeah, I feel like that's kind of good too. Like I use the pre-made silk pouches for various things, you know, for the chakra stones, for that sort of thing. But if it's real like deep magic or something like super personal that I'm working on, I like to sew it. And I actually wove this, well, braided this cord that I made for it. So yeah. So anyways, and I probably would have put some sort of oil on here. That's probably where I would have used rosemary because I have rosemary and not sage oil. So yeah, and it's just covered in dog hair and dust and fuzz. I tend to wear it in my bra, so if not around my neck. So there's that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do a protective witch battle. and our witch jar. And this is not something I tend to do. I tend to work with mojo bags. I tend to make things like this, and I hang them up if I need to, you know, have them in a certain area, or, you know, I have buried them before, that sort of thing, or I keep them around if I'm trying to bring positive things. So this is not something I normally do, but it's kind of interesting. It's kind of fun. And what I'm starting with is stormwater. We just had a really kind of a scary storm, actually, and I want that power. I want that power in this. I want anyone who sends me negativity, anyone who tries to bring negativity to my front door, to feel that power and to feel that strength, and to know that I'm pissed. So this is very much, if somebody is intending you bad things, it's going to, they're gonna feel it back. So, oh, and actually, let me just light. We're gonna use a black candle for this. Black being very protective. And you know what? I didn't dress this candle. I probably should have. I did cleanse it. I kind of cleanse everything when I bring it home. Probably would have been a good idea. Let me see, what kind of oil do I have around that's easy to get to. Let me see. Clove. Clove is nice and protective, and yeah, and it goes with black. So we're just gonna actually just drop a couple drops in the wax. 1, 2, and 3, and that should be plenty. It ended up being 4, and I don't like even numbers, so we'll go with 5. There you go. And yeah, it's already starting to burn. That's not what I intended, but you know, again, y'all know me. If you've seen my videos before, you know that nothing ever goes to plan, and that's cool. We roll with it. So here's our stormwater, and I'm trying to think of where I should start. First, we're going to start again. Yeah, I mentioned black tourmaline. Let me find kind of a small piece, because I'm going to bury this. I'm never going to see this again. I don't want to put like a really great piece of tourmaline that I might like to work with. Yeah, that's cool. So we're going to put a good chunk of tourmaline. And it's funny, Aria and Amanda, who I work with over on the Mystical Moon Musings channel, they laugh at me because, like, they're always like, oh, I need so-and-so stone. I'm like, I've got a bag of that at home. I'm not kidding. I really do. I buy this stuff in bulk if I find a good price on it. So, yeah, there are some stones that you just know that you're going to need over and over again. So, black tourmaline, that's going to trap any energy. It's not really, I'm hoping it doesn't really ground it, because I want the energy to, again, I want the person to feel it. So here we go. Now you want sharp things, okay? And again, the idea is this negativity, you want to punish it. How dare it come to you? And so you want it to kind of be stuck in this jar with all these sharp pointy things. So here we've got some pins. And we're just going to do a healthy dollop of pins. There's one with some thread attached to it. I don't care, that's cool, because we're going to add thread to it anyways. Yeah. So, yeah, again, the idea is the energy gets kind of caught up here, gets trapped in it, can't escape, that sort of thing. So, pins. And it, you know, gets punctured, and that gets sent back to the sender. And alrighty. Now, another thing that's very often used is thread, specifically black thread. And again, the idea is that the energy gets all tangled up and caught up in this thread. Can't go anywhere. It's stuck here. Yeah, it kind of traps that negativity. So we're going to add a lot of this. Oops. It's going crazy over here. It's pandemonium. Okay, I'm gonna like cut a lot of this out because this is just ridiculous. This little spool is going everywhere. I can't find like a really good way to make this go faster because it keeps hooking right here. There we go, I got it. Okay, now here we've got a nice wad of black. I know you guys can't see that very well against the black I have here, but again, it's like it's tangle, it's nasty. Anything that tries to come my way is going to get caught up in this and not make its way to me. And again, I'm burying this in front of my front door. So yeah, so that's going to keep it from getting to me. Another thing, you know, again, like the pins, is broken glass. Broken mirrors are also good because mirrors will the mirror kind of sends the energy back to the person who's sending it. I just happen to have some broken glass. We dropped a candle a couple weeks ago, which is fortuitous. So yeah, so there you go. Here we go. This is some cemetery cypress. And Aria and I collected this a couple months ago, I guess, where cypress is connected with death. And I don't want anyone who sends me negativity to die. But it's also, yeah, I mean, you find this in cemeteries a lot because it is connected with the underworld. It is also connected with Hecate for that reason. And I'm not trying to bring in death energy, but I am trying to bring in Hecate's protective nature. Okay, she is very, very, very protective, and so we're going to add some cypress in honor of Hecate. So, I'm going to throw that in. And also in that same vein, this is that Hecate oil that I made many, many videos back. Add a good amount of that and kind of bring her energy into it. Because again, she is very protective. Yeah, she's really good for this sort of energy. And this is kind of like, it's getting tangled up in my strings. See, it's already working. So, yeah. Okay, so I'm also going to draw a protective pentagram. And I don't know. I know I don't do it right. I don't do the starting in certain points and ending in certain places and everything. That's all very nice. It's all very like ceremonial magic. I don't really care about that stuff. I care about, this is my protective symbol. It means something to me. Okay? So, we're going to do that, and I'm going to activate it with a drop of blood. So let's see if I can do this without whining. And I like to add, blood to things. I do use blood a lot. I use it for offerings. I feel like if you're willing to bleed for something, that's kind of a sacrifice. That kind of shows that you're serious about it. I use blood when I work with Hecate. I use blood when I work with really anything that just requires like a lot of personal involvement for me, and it ties it to me, but it also shows, again, I'm real serious. I'm willing to sacrifice for this. This is something I want to happen. I'm willing to put myself into it and sacrifice a little bit of pain, a little bit of my blood here, and I'm going to get more into the bodily fluids in just a minute. So, yeah, there we go. So, pentagram activated with blood. And, normally I would spend time with all of these ingredients. I'm going to bless this whole thing after this video. I'm going to spend some time really meditating on what I did and really putting so much of my intention. I mean, I'm putting intention into it now. I know what it's for. But I'm going to really, really focus and really push that intention into it when I'm done with the video. So, there's my pentagram. And then, yeah, you're going to want some vinegar. Now, there are special vinegars used in hoodoo that are great. Five Thieves, I believe, is the one that you sometimes use for this, but really, just vinegar is good. It kind of has that sour pungency that kind of, again, makes it just very undesirable. You want undesirable things in here. You want that negativity, and anyone who sends it to feel the pain of what they sent to you. So yeah, so vinegar kind of goes along with that. So I just happen to have a little bit of this vinegar in the fridge. Yeah, just distilled white vinegar. And you'll notice we're not filling it up to the top. And I said that I would get back to bodily fluids in a minute. I'm going to pee in this. And again, we just want that kind of like nasty energy. You know, it like draws like. And so it's going to draw that negativity. It's going to get it all tangled up. It's going to live here. Or possibly be grounded by that tourmaline. But it's going to, it's just going to come here. So, yeah, so I am going to not show that on the video. That's a little personal. Love you guys, not that much. So yeah, so anyways, this is how you make a witch's jar. And I will be spending some time putting some intention into this after this video. And again, I'm really sorry that that bag would not open, but you know, I feel like it didn't open for a reason. You know, maybe y'all weren't supposed to see that. And, you know, whatever, we can talk about the stones. Yeah, so. Now, one thing too, I thought about putting in here is I've got the burnt offerings from a ritual that I did for Hecate back in October. I thought about putting some of those in there, but I have some of those in this Hecate oil, so we're bringing her in here. Other things you can use are broken pieces of mirrors. I didn't want to break a mirror to make that happen. I am very superstitious. I don't need bad luck. Not gonna happen. You can, you know, if you have like a certain person who is causing you harm, you could use a little bit of their hair. You could use, you know, anything that you could find of theirs to put in here to key it specifically to them, to keep them away. You know, actually, even like black ink. I thought about black ink. I have black ink. I may add black ink. I'm trying to see if it's close by. It's not. Yeah, so I may throw some black ink in here. Just kind of bring that darkness, just to draw that negativity. Black being a very protective, drawing kind of color. So, yeah, I'm trying to think of, I mean, really, you know, make it personal for you. If the pentagram doesn't work for you, come up with something else, you know, or write what you're trying to protect yourself from. Or, you know, write how you want the energy to be dealt with. Or, you know, really, like, spell work means more when you do it your way. You do what feels right. You do what's intuitive. You have to, like, listen to yourself and know what's supposed to happen. Know what's supposed to go in here. Because, like, if you just read it out of a book and you just put some things together and you're like, okay, what now? It's just not going to have as much power as something that you've put your personal stuff into. Like, you know, the cemetery cypress. That brings in Hecate. That brings in me because it's something that I collected. It brings in a lot of energy that I wanted in there, but it's not, you're not going to find that in any ritual book. It's just not going to be there. So, yeah, start with rituals in books, but by all means, go crazy and make it personal to you. And then pee in it. Or not. It's not required. I just like to do it because, again, I like my personal involvement. I like to have it keyed to me. So I may actually, this is going in front of our house, I may get Joe to pee in it a little bit too. So that's it. Hope you guys are having an amazing full moon. Yeah, Capricorn full moon. Go Capricorn. So that's it, and blessed be. Bye-bye.